What's up, guys? Buckle up because you're about to enjoy an excellent Snaps game preview where we tell you everything you need to know about this weekend's game and probably some stuff that you didn't. Enjoy. It's the SEC Championship. Your Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Texas Longhorns in a rematch. A very interesting, or I should say, the always interesting college rematch, something we don't normally see in this sport, right? In the NFL, of course, you all your division rivals twice a year, commonplace. Play teams sometimes 3 times in a year. It's not too often we see it here. It should become increasingly commonplace. I don't want to be commonplace. We should see it increasingly in the future with this new setup that we have.
We're expected to have 2 rematches in this conference championship weekend. I mean, all things pointed to Oregon, Ohio State in a rematch too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I think yes. It'll become more. It'll have more often. I don't know if commonplace is right though, because of what you just saw, Ohio State losing, right?
Like you'll see in the playoffs too. I think you'll see more and more teams.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Twice. I guess you're right. So this is kind of an early look into maybe what the future of the sport could look like with 2 great teams that already squared off once in the year, then having to square up again when it matters more.
And he could square up again in the playoffs as well.
Yeah,
you may see
when it matters,
2 teams playing each other again.
When it matters most, or when it would matter most. It's very interesting. I mean, levels. First up, the first game in Austin, Georgia goes in and really pushes Texas around in a lot of ways. This game going to kind of be like a home game for Georgia, being that it's in Atlanta. Now, I'm sure Texas will get as close to about 50-50 as you can in that stadium, but I think they're still going to struggle to, or I don't know. Do you have better insight there? And have you heard any rumors? You think it's going to be 50-50?
I feel like I don't think it's going to be a massive difference. This is not going to be like when the poor boy LSUs didn't want to travel to Atlanta because they were scared and trying to save their money to go to Orlando for the bowl game. I think Texas got money. I think Texas is excited. I think Texas sees how good this football team is. I don't anticipate it being 50-50, but I would not be surprised if it's like 55-45. So like in that case, like it's not that big of a difference.
The other critical difference between that LSU game you're referencing is Texas has a chance, okay? Because this Georgia team is not as good as that Georgia team was, and this Texas team is much better than that LSU team was. I mean, this is a battle of what many people would have as probably your national champion favorites outside of Oregon, right? I mean, because Ohio State's already all of a sudden taking a hit. Nobody believes in Penn State. Like, these are, outside of Oregon, the 2 big dogs that people would choose to win the Natty, and here they're going to square off in Atlanta with an SC title on the line.
Yep. No, I agree. But I will say this, like, once again, will you agree that it shouldn't, I don't think there's going to be a home field advantage feel other than the fact that Georgia's played in this stadium a bunch. Georgia's obviously played in the SEC championship a bunch. So there is a comfort level of being in that stadium. And listen, you've played in domes. Playing in a dome is a different feel than playing outside.
For linemen, I didn't really think so.
For linemen, I think for me as a quarterback, receivers, it feels different.
Expound on that. Say, like, how so?
It just it doesn't feel the same. I don't know. It's like it's not like my eyes are different. It's just a different feeling. I don't know. And maybe it is an eye thing.
Like, well, I feel that. Like, the vibes are different. Like, it feels bigger. It feels flashier. It always, because you're normally on a big stage when you're playing in one of those games. The turf feels fast. Like, it feels cool. But I thought you were saying, like, in the
I don't think that there's like, I don't think it's messing with your head. No, I don't think there's anything like that. Maybe for the receivers, but like for me as a quarterback, no. It just felt, I know it's a big game when I play in the Georgia Dome.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate that. Absolutely.
But like being in a dome just feels a little bit different than being outside.
Yeah, get your blood boiled because you're generally playing in a massive game in an NFL stadium.
Yes.
So what's weird to me, Aaron, is I find myself feeling kind of the same way about this game that I did the first time around, which is on paper, I feel like Texas appears to be the better team. And I said it the first time, right? I was like, I just don't see where Georgia's advantages are, except that they are more battle tested. I think that Texas got a little more battle tested in the interim. I mean, is it possible for Georgia to recreate what they did to Texas in game number 1?
No, but is it possible that Texas can recreate what they did too with Carson? I mean, both quarterbacks threw 3 picks each in that game, multiple picks, whatever it was. So like, can It was an ugly game. It just for
It was
Texas.
three picks for Beck, only one for Ewers.
He had
Two
the fumble.
touchdowns
My
for
bad. He had the
Ewers.
fumble.
He had he had two lost fumbles, so it was
Yes.
3 turnovers apiece.
Yes.
And yeah, to your point, remember they actually put Arch Manning in this game looking
Yes.
for a spark.
And their turnovers were mostly in the red zone. I know Carson's the one pick that ended up bringing back to the red zone too, but I just feel like the Texas's turnovers were a little bit more costly in that game, especially early on. But to say that like both quarterbacks are going to be that bad once again, I don't anticipate, because both quarterbacks have played better as of late. Like Carson's played really, really well. I think Ewers has played significantly better the past few games, even with the bum ankle. So I don't think either team is going to look and feel as bad as they did offensively the first go round. But I'm with you. Like, you know how I feel about Texas. I think Texas right now is the best roster in college football. Texas is probably my favorite to win the national championship. But we talk about like Georgia's big bugaboo has always been Alabama. Can they beat Alabama? Can they beat them in a SEC championship? Can they beat them in a national championship? Can they beat they just something about that game? I still need to see Texas win a big time game against a competitive team like Georgia on a big stage. And is Georgia
You mean this year's Texas?
Yeah, this year's Texas. I mean, they won the Big 12 championship last year. Yeah, great, but they lost the first round.
No, but the Alabama win though. I know. I feel you.
Yes.
I've said
like
the same
thing big time stage.
Yes, I've said the same thing in the past, and I've had the Alabama win thrown in my face. But I'm actually inclined to agree with you.
Yes,
that Sark, like, you dropped your bowl game, one of which was a bowl game, one a playoff game, to Washington 2 years in a row. This year you had UGA, you lose that. So yeah, the big game evidence on Sark is kind of more bad than good, but he does have the one.
Yes,
he has one, but now he needs one on this stage. To your point,
he needs one on this stage. I agree. So I don't know. Like, I'm torn. I think Texas's roster is better, but then I went back and watched the game from early in the season, and just Texas's inability to run the football. And you're not going to have Banks in this game. And I know Georgia's defense has not been great against run, but they held you. They held your starting running back to 52 yards. You had 21 yards total with the sacks included on that. So you couldn't get the run game going at home. Now being in this environment, what makes me feel better that you're going to get the run game going now all of a sudden?
Well, I think for Texas, because they're leaning on Wisner more.
But Wisner was a running back. I mean, he only got 15 carries.
He only got 15 carries. That's what I'm saying. Like, now they're going to be like, wait, we're not going to – ideally, now they got, the game flow dictated they had to start throwing it a lot. But ideally, if I'm Texas, I mean, my takeaway from that first game is, why the fuck would I try to throw my way to victory here? Like, I need to slow this game down, muddy it up, and try to run the ball. I mean, Wisner, 26 carries against Kentucky, 33 against A&M. Ideally, if Texas wins this game, they want Wisner to have 25-plus carries.
I 100% agree with that. I think both teams are going to lean on the running. I think this is going to be I don't know what the over-under is. I think this is going to be over-under is 49.5. I think this is going to be a very much, we like our quarterbacks. We like where they are right now. We trust our defenses, especially if I'm Texas, and we're going to run the football and not lose it. Texas lost that first game with the turnovers. They lost the game.
Yeah.
I think they want to take it out of Ewers' hands, give it to the running backs, and let's see if they can, like you said, I don't have faith in Georgia's offense, to be honest. Like, if it comes to Texas takes care of the football, Texas doesn't mess up, I struggle to find ways in which Georgia can drive the field consistently against that defense.
Etienne in this game, Chad is saying?
That's a problem. That's a problem. The freshman running back's been great, though. He's been great. I mean, I think Nate Frazier has gained a lot of confidence as of late. I think he's running with some piss and vinegar. I think the guys around him love the way he runs. He's been tremendous as a true freshman. But it's also a true freshman in this game against this elite defense. Georgia needs other playmakers to step up, and I don't know who that is. Like, do you have any faith in Arian Smith? Probably not. Do you have faith in Dom Lovett? Maybe a little bit. Dylan Bell, the tight ends. It's just been, man, it's been so rocky from the skill position for Georgia that you hope someone steps up, but you don't. It's hard to predict who will. Or at least Texas, you can say, like, they got really good receivers. They got a running back that's hot right now. They're a little bit more balanced on offense. It just comes down to Ewers.
Well, and they have a defense that statistically is just like outlier good. Just like an absurdly good defense. Man, the Etienne thing is interesting because 19 for 87 and 3 tuds in game number 1. Like, it was his balance and vision that made a lot of those plays. Frazier got 4 carries for 10. Obviously, like you said, though, the setting's different here in terms of Frazier's experience and him coming online as of late. But God, I mean, that's another element that works against Georgia here. Are you at all worried about a Georgia rush defense that got shredded against Georgia Tech, or is that more just about Georgia Tech's? Yeah, just about
that's Haynes King. That's a different running style. As Georgia fans know, Georgia's not good against the mobile quarterback. And I got asked. I'm sure you've been asked this question. Oh, then just put Arch Manning in. I don't think that their Arch won't see the field. I think there will be a package for Arch. There's no doubt about it.
What?
You saw it last week versus
A&M. For real?
What? That Arch will get in?
Yeah.
He got in versus A&M last week. He had the first touchdown of the game. So, like, I think they'd be silly not to use him at times, especially with the success that Georgia Tech had running the quarterback. But I still think if Ewers, as long as Ewers does not just completely shit the bed, I think Ewers is going to get 90 to 95% of snaps.
Yeah.
But you have to use Manning in like red zone, third downs. There'll be a package for him.
Yeah, that makes yeah. So in the end, I think this, if I'm looking at advantages on the field, the majority of the kind of position group or player advantages I would score in Texas's favor. If I think of advantages in maybe intangibles or off the field, I will always back Kirby Smart's culture and Kirby Smart just because he's won on these stages before. He's had great success on the stage before. That said, no Etienne, Wisner coming on. Texas, I think, adopting this more tough, physical, bully kind of mentality. And the fact that Georgia beat them the first time, and it's really hard to beat a good team twice. Yep. I think
that's
Texas,
more talented than you as a roster.
Yeah, I think Texas. I think Texas actually gets this rematch.
I have been back and forth. I think every day has been a new team for me. I have no idea, to be honest. I think this is, and I said this is the first game. I thought it would have been it's either Georgia would win close or Texas would blow them out. And I kind of feel the same way here. And obviously Georgia then beat them significantly in the first matchup. I initially thought when this game was decided, Sunday, I was like, all right, well, Georgia's probably going to lose this game. I think Texas is a better team. And then, like I said, I went back and watched the game, and I don't believe Ewers will play that bad to the point where he'll get benched. But it's hard for me to think, even with Wisner gaining confidence and running the football, that it's going to be that big of a difference running for Texas in this game versus Georgia. I mean, they dominated the line of scrimmage in that first go round. So I think Georgia wins a very, very tight ball game. Very tight ball game.
Yeah.
But I say that now. I guarantee you in 2 days, I'll probably you know what? I think Texas wins. I don't know. I'm just it's Texas the better roster. I think Georgia's got a little bit more swagger. I think Georgia probably heads into this game a little bit more confidence because of the being battle tested and playing in the stadium and all that, and winning the SEC championship game and having Kirby Smart as our head coach. But it's gonna be fantastic, no doubt about it.
Oh, well, I'd say that was informative and fun. If you agree, please hit the like button, sub, and we'll see you next time for some more snaps.